Welcome to Disrupt, Dominate, Delegate, the podcast for women who are done playing small and ready to take up all the damn space. I'm Brooke Norland, and I'm here to help you break the rules, own your expertise, and stop wasting time on the shit that doesn't serve you. We don't just do business that fits into someone else's mold. We burn blueprints, and we build our empire on our terms. So if you're ready to disrupt the status quo, dominate your industry, and finally delegate the tasks that are holding you back, you're in the right place. Let's get to work. Have you ever thought, who am I to teach this? Today I want to help you to flip that thought and say, who the hell am I not to? And I want to start with a story, as I often do, because I learned through those things in my life. I learned through, we all do, through experience and things like that. But I find that sharing the story that was kind of a catalyst point for me helps to maybe flip a mindset for you too. I'm hoping that the way that my brain works, ADHD and all, can maybe help your brain flip the script too. And none of this is ever easy. None of it's overnight work. But it's when a light goes off or a spark flicks. And then all of a sudden you can start doing the work to bring yourself into something that's even more powerful and even more amazing. So I want to talk about my before life. Before I was an online entrepreneur, I was an insurance agent. And I started in that agency. I started as a receptionist, and then I got licensed and I started to sell insurance. And then I started managing the CSR team. And as I was doing that, as I was in the management part of it, I also started to take over some of the social media and PR and things like that. When I did that, there was something that was told to me often, and it was never use the word expert. It was told to me by other agents. It was told to me by my boss. It was told to me in the continuing education that we were taking in order to keep up our licenses. It was repeated to me over and over and over. And the words that always followed it was, never call yourself an expert. Because when, not if, when, as an insurance agent, you end up in court, you are going to have to defend yourself to a further extent when you claim that you have expertise. And listen, every industry is different. And I know that there's some truth to that, seeing a lot of things in the industry. But it also did a really terrible thing to my mind, to my brain. It always told me that I could never express myself in anything as an expert because people were going to expect more from me then. People were going to expect that I was going to know everything if I claimed I was an expert in something, or that I knew anything really well at all. And so it kept me for so long from stepping into the power of the things that I know I'm actually very good at. And I think that outside of the insurance industry, inside of that story that I shared with you, that sentiment is expressed to us across so many things. Because with expertise comes expectation. With expectation comes pressure. With that pressure comes the possibility of failure. And for me, that's a lot to bear. For a lot of us, that's a lot to bear. But when I started stepping into the online world and starting my own business and being an entrepreneur and seeing so many people step into this expertise realm of things, the first thing that happened to me was like shock and awe and, oh my gosh, honey, don't do that. People are going to expect things from you. That's terrifying. Why? Why is that terrifying? Because somebody might think that you're good at what you do? Well, holy shit. And don't get me wrong, I get it. I understand where all that, like I said, the pressure and the whole circle of things that comes from expectation. But you're good at what you do. I'm good at what I do. And for me to downplay that for fear of someone also knowing I'm good at what I'm doing, well, that's just silly. That's just silly. And so I had to reframe how I thought about myself as an expert, as someone who knows what the hell she's doing. And it took time. It took time, as all things do. So how do we start thinking, who the hell am I not to claim expertise? I think we need to learn where this comes from. And it's a little bit about what I talked about in that story. But I also think the expectation of women is higher because we have to prove ourselves so much more than other people do. Expert always feels like a really heavy word too, and I think that's conditioning, and it's not necessarily, I'm not saying that being an expert is not a profound and wonderful and amazing thing, and it's not a big deal, but I think that we've been conditioned to be afraid of that. And also, it's a fear of exposure. It's a fear that people are watching you more closely because you know what you're doing. And let's be honest, as adults, we know that most of us are out here just, winging it. We're winging it on a lot of things, but there's some things that you are really good at. And people, honestly, we have to just shift the way we look at expertise, because all it is you have knowledge that someone else can learn from or use and pay for. That's what being an expert is. You have knowledge someone else needs in one way, shape, or form. So we need to take away the scary part of what expertise is. And also that no one is watching you and waiting for you to fail. If they are, fuck them. Not many people are, if any at all. Okay, we need to forget that those people are there, because they're most likely not. We're probably making it up in our head. And if they are, then they're just jealous and they can go away, and that's fine. It says so much more about them than it says about you. Right? People aren't waiting for you to fail. People are waiting for you to help. They're waiting for you to help them. So own what you're good at. Own that expertise. There is so much power in owning what you do know versus apologizing for what you don't, because no one knows it all. No one knows it all. Weird. But we put so much pressure on ourselves with that word, with the thought of failure, with the pressure of failure. We don't have to. We're never going to know it all. But girl, you know a lot about something, and you are holding back from letting people know how much you do know because you're afraid of the expectation. You're afraid someone's watching you. You're afraid to fail. Why are you so afraid to help? That's how we flip that switch. Don't be so afraid to help people. So a few things I want you to do from here on out, and one of them is to just completely drop that I am not an expert from your vocabulary. A lot of times when I'm talking to clients, and in the past, I have always said, I'm not really an expert, but friend, there are things I can say that to. There are a lot of things I can say that about. But do I need to say that? No, I do not need to apologize for the things I don't know. And that's what that is. It's an apology. I'm not an expert. I'm sorry. So sorry I'm not an expert in that. But let me see if I can help you anyway. How about just telling them, let's see how I can help you? How about that? Don't apologize. Own the power of knowing what you know how to do. And maybe you don't know how to do the thing they're asking you to do, or can't help them with a specific problem or a specific product, but you do know how to help them. And if that's saying, listen, I don't have a product for that, or listen, I don't have a service for that, or listen, I'm not really sure, but I do have resources. I do know how to find that answer for you. Those are the things you do know. Don't apologize for what you don't. Another thing that's really helpful for me, and this is something that my brain does not do well, I cannot remember where I was, so I don't understand how far I've come. Usually, I can't remember what I used to not know, so what I do know now just feels normal. And so I can forget how powerful the knowledge or the experience that I have is. And I think a lot of us can. I think some of that is just getting older, and we trash some of the knowledge or the things we don't need to know anymore to make space for other things. And some of it's my ADHD brain, and some of it is just, life, right? But I can forget those things. I can forget how far I've come. So I think it's really important to do a couple of things. I have started journaling a little bit about where my thoughts are and the things that I know now, or not know now, but the things I'm reflecting on in my job now, and not journaling in any formal sentence type way, just messy journaling, writing things down as thoughts come to me, so that someday if I need to, I can go back and look at that and remind myself where I was, because I won't be here forever. I will know more. Again, I will know more someday, and I need to remind myself. So sometimes we need to do that. Sometimes we need to start a love you bank, a feel good bank. There should be a folder on your phone where you can screenshot things people say to you that make you feel good because you've helped them. Or you can write yourself little notes in the note section of your phone. Write those things down. Document those things when you feel good, okay? Because that's going to remind you when you're not feeling good that you deserve to feel good, that you do have expertise, that you can own the knowledge that you have. The last challenge I have for you, and this is the big one. This is one I want you to actually take, like, just go do. I want you on your social media, in an email, whatever it is, go teach somebody something. Even if you think it is basic as fuck, go teach somebody something. I don't care if it's how you trim your fingernails, because you know, maybe you do it differently than somebody else. That is something that I have learned about the internet, my friend. People do a lot of things differently, and I had no idea I was living my life so difficult before. The way people clip chip bags, come on, go share something today that you think is basic. Go teach somebody something. Make a reel, write an email, share it in your stories, whatever it is. Go teach somebody something, because you have knowledge somebody is looking for. And when you start doing that, even the things you think are basic, because again, we forget sometimes where we were and where we've come to, and the knowledge we have now feels basic to us. I can guarantee you it's not to somebody else. Share it, teach it. And the more we do that, the more we're going to be able to step into our expertise, the more we're going to be able to own our own knowledge. So go do those things. Drop "I'm not an expert" from your vocabulary and stop apologizing for things you don't know. Start documenting your wins, remind yourself how far that you've come, and challenge yourself to teach something you know, even if it's basic, to somebody else every day. Because experts do not wait for permission. They show up, they speak, and they own their damn place at the table. Own your place at the table. All right? All right. Go get to work.